For 18 months, I dedicated myself to crafting an innovative cybersecurity platform capable of anticipating and thwarting attacks before they could even start. Titan Technologies appeared to be the ideal environment to bring this vision to reality, a well-funded, forward-thinking company with all the tools I required. What I didn't anticipate, however, was that CEO Brandon Holt had a completely different agenda. Wait until my work was nearly finished, then claim it as his own. My name is Maya Lin, and until yesterday, I served as the chief AI engineer at TitanTech. I left a secure, well-compensated position at Microsoft to join this ambitious startup, bringing with me years of experience and a concept I believe could transform the cybersecurity landscape. My creation, named Sentinel Shield after the ever-watchful guardians of mythology, could detect attack patterns before they fully emerged, generating adaptive countermeasures in real time. For a year and a half, I poured my heart into this project, working 80-hour weeks to construct Sentinel Shield from scratch. Brandon would occasionally drop by my workspace, engaging in casual conversation, reviewing progress updates, and flashing a polished corporate grin, the kind that never quite felt genuine. "Outstanding work, Maya," he'd say. "The board is thrilled with your advancements." 3 days ago, I hit a major milestone. Sentinel Shield successfully intercepted and neutralized a highly complex cyber attack simulation without any human input. Not only did it perform as intended, but it surpassed expectations, identifying vulnerabilities I hadn't explicitly coded it to find. The AI was learning and evolving. Thrilled by this breakthrough, I promptly arranged a meeting with Brandon to share the results. His assistant, Rachel, slotted me in for a brief 15-minute meeting the following afternoon. When I arrived at his office, I found not only Brandon but also the company's legal counsel, Andrea Fields, waiting for me. "Take a seat, Maya," Brandon said, gesturing to a chair across from him, his face unreadable. "Andreas, here is a formality." Something in his tone made my stomach churn. I sat down, clutching my laptop, ready to present the demo. "Before we dive into Sentinel Shield," Brandon continued, sliding a document toward me, "we need to address some issues with your employment contract." Andrea cleared her throat, her voice cold and detached. "Section 14.3 of your agreement states that any intellectual property developed using company resources belongs solely to Titan Technologies." I nodded, already sensing where this was headed. "I understand standard IP clauses, but I conceived Sentinel Shield long before joining Titan. I have records to prove it." Andrea didn't flinch. "While you may have had a rough idea, the fully operational system was built here, on Titan's time, with Titan's resources." Brandon leaned forward, dropping any pretense of warmth. "Let's be clear, Maya. Sentinel Shield is Titan Technologies' property. The board considers your compensation package more than adequate for your efforts." I frowned. "Compensation package?" He offered a thin smile. "Your contract includes a success bonus. You'll receive a one-time payment of $300,000 once Sentinel Shield launches, generous by industry standards." The words hit like a blow. $300,000 for a system worth billions. For 18 months of tireless work. For my innovation. Oblivious to my rising anger, Brandon pressed on. "Tomorrow, I'll present Sentinel Shield to our top investors. We expect to secure $75 million in funding. After that, we'll unveil Titan Technologies' revolutionary cybersecurity solution." I stared at him, my hands clenching into fists. "You're terminating me." Andrea sighed. "We're transitioning you out, effective immediately. With your bonus, of course." Brandon smirked, a predator who had trapped his prey. "Congratulations, Maya. Your employment is officially over." But what he didn't know was that I had foreseen this betrayal. And Sentinel Shield, I had embedded a little surprise. My legal team confirmed that, per my contract, Sentinel Shield belonged to Titan. I could have fought back, threatened a lawsuit, or caused a scene. Instead, a strange calm washed over me. They expected a fight. They were ready for it. What they didn't know was that I was ready, too. 6 months earlier, I discovered Brandon had accessed my secure development server after hours. Nothing was taken, but an alert item embedded in the system flagged the intrusion. From that moment, I began building safeguards, not just to shield Sentinel Shield from external threats but from internal ones as well. I nodded, keeping my face neutral, and handed over my laptop. "Of course, Mr. Holt. I said calmly. Good luck with tomorrow's investor demo. Security escorted me to my office, watching closely as I packed my personal items into a cardboard box. I left the building, badge in hand, carrying that box like countless others before me. But unlike them, I wasn't leaving empty-handed. I smiled to myself, thinking of the special code I'd woven into the presentation, set to activate 10 minutes into the demo. That night, I didn't panic or plot revenge. Instead, I ordered takeout, watched a few episodes of a light-hearted sitcom, and waited. At exactly 9:30 p.m., my phone rang. It was Rachel, Brandon's assistant. "He needs to see you," she said without preamble. I glanced at the clock. "It's nearly 10 o'clock. It's urgent," she replied. "A car is on its way." 40 minutes later, I was back at Titan Technologies, ushered into the sleek conference room. Brandon sat alone at the table's head, his usual polished confidence gone. His tie was loose, his hair disheveled, and the veins in his temple pulsed from repeatedly running his hands through it. "Fix it!" he snapped the moment the door closed. I took my time settling into a chair, deliberately slow. "Fix what, exactly?" "Don't play dumb, Maya," he seethed. "You've sabotaged the demo." I raised an eyebrow. "How could I? I've been gone for 24 hours. Security watched me clear out my desk. I didn't take any devices or access any systems." Brandon slammed his hand on the table. The test run crashed the entire system. It started flagging non-existent threats, generating thousands of false positives. "It's completely unusable." I tilted my head, feigning curiosity. "Sounds like a technical glitch. Have you tried rebooting it?" His face reddened with fury. "This isn't a joke. We have 12 major investors coming tomorrow. There's $75 million at stake." "Your investors," I corrected. "Your system now." Brandon took a deep breath, forcing himself to calm down. When he spoke again, his voice was smooth and persuasive, the same tone that had swayed so many, including me, to trust him. "Look, maybe we acted too quickly yesterday. I'm willing to negotiate a fairer deal, co-creator credit, a bigger compensation package, perhaps some equity." I leaned back in my chair. "What exactly happened during the test run?" Brandon hesitated, weighing how much to reveal. The system turned on itself. It flagged Titan Technologies' own network components as threats. Then it started generating reports, hundreds of them, documenting what it called internal ethical violations. I couldn't suppress a smile. Sentinel Shield is designed to detect threats, Brandon. All threats. His expression darkened. "What did you do?" "I didn't sabotage anything," I said simply. Sentinel Shield is functioning as intended. It's an AI that learns and adapts to protect networks from malicious activity. During development, I fed it case studies of cyber attacks, including those originating from within organizations. Brandon's face paled. "You taught it to spy on us." "I taught it to recognize threats, no matter their source." Realization dawned in his eyes. The system wasn't malfunctioning. It had identified Titan Technologies, or more specifically him, as a security risk. "You can't prove any of this," he said, his voice hardening. I leaned back, keeping my expression neutral. "I don't need to. Sentinel Shield had been documenting everything for months. Every unauthorized access, every copied file, every altered document. It was all compiled in the reports it generated, complete with timestamps, access logs, and recorded keystrokes." The silence that followed was heavy. Brandon stared at me, his anger slowly giving way to calculation. "What do you want?" I folded my hands on the table. "Full acknowledgement as Sentinel Shield's creator and lead architect, 50% ownership of all related patents and intellectual property, a board seat to ensure its ethical use, and $10 million in compensation for your attempt to sideline me." His jaw tightened. "That's blackmail." "No," I said smoothly. "That's negotiation. Blackmail would be sending those reports directly to the investors and the SEC. Brandon exhaled sharply, glaring at me for a long moment. Then, slowly, his shoulders slumped in defeat. "The system," he said, voice strained. "Can you fix it before tomorrow's demo?" "Sentinel Shield doesn't need fixing," I replied. "It just needs proper authorization protocols. Right now, it's flagging unauthorized commands because its creator, me, was removed from the authentication chain." I reached into my pocket, pulled out a small flash drive, and placed it on the table. This contains an authentication update to resolve the immediate issues. Consider it a gesture of good faith toward our new partnership. The contracts can be drawn up tomorrow. Brandon stared at the drive, then at me. You planned this all along, he muttered. I smiled. No, I hoped it wouldn't come to this. But after finding you in my secure server 6 months ago, I built protections for the system, and for myself. His eyes narrowed. How did you know I'd try to cut you out? I stood, picking up my bag. I didn't, I admitted. But Sentinel Shield is designed to detect patterns and predict threats before they emerge. I suppose some of that rubbed off on its creator. I gave him a pointed look. The next morning, I returned to Titan Technologies as the newly appointed co-founder and chief technology officer. Brandon introduced me to the investors with a smile that never reached his eyes. The demo went off without a hitch. Sentinel Shield neutralized every simulated attack with seamless precision. One investor, clearly impressed, turned to Brandon. Remarkable system. What sparked its creation? Brandon hesitated, just long enough for me to savor the moment, then answered with barely concealed reluctance. It was Maya's vision from the start. Titan Technologies simply provided the resources for her idea to thrive. I smiled, stepping in to address technical questions. As I spoke, my phone buzzed with a notification. Sentinel Shield authentication restored. Threat neutralized. System integrity secured. Creator protections active. The AI was learning faster than I'd expected. It had identified a threat, neutralized it, and safeguarded its future, just as designed. 3 months later, Sentinel Shield saw its first commercial deployment, preventing a major cyber attack on a global banking network. The incident, which could have caused $340 million in damages, instead established Sentinel Shield as the benchmark in cybersecurity. Brandon and I maintained a professional dynamic. He focused on business development, where his skills shone, while I led technical innovation, where my expertise was indispensable. We weren't friends, nor would we ever be, but we'd found a balance that worked. Sometimes, I wondered if I could have approached things differently, pursued legal action or fought it out in court. But ultimately, I had created something too powerful to be stolen, and I'd ensured no one, not even Brandon Holt, could control it without me. His attempted betrayal revealed a crucial truth. Technology is only as ethical as those who wield it. That insight became the cornerstone of how we now deploy Sentinel Shield. Every implementation includes stringent ethical safeguards and transparency measures to prevent abuse. The system doesn't just protect networks, it protects itself and its users from exploitation. Last week, as we celebrated Sentinel Shield's successful public offering, valuing the company at $4.2 billion, a young developer approached me at the event. "What's the key to building something so groundbreaking?" she asked, her eyes brimming with ambition. I smiled. "It's not just about the code," I told her. "It's about recognizing that the biggest security risks often come from unexpected places. The real challenge isn't just creating technology, it's ensuring it can adapt, evolve, and defend itself without compromising its core principles. Build systems that detect threats, adapt to them, and neutralize them while staying true to their ethical foundation." She nodded, thoughtful. I glanced at my phone, where a quiet notification from Sentinel Shield appeared. System integrity secured. Threat neutralized. Protections active. Just as it was designed to do. Just as its creator had learned to do. "I want to hear from you. After everything I endured, betrayal, underestimation, and nearly being erased from my own creation, I emerged stronger, wiser, and in control of my future. But I didn't do it alone. I relied on my experience, instincts, and most importantly, the resolve to stand up for what was mine. So tell me, what would you have done in my shoes? Would you have pursued legal action, taken the company to court, or walked away to start anew? Do you think I made the right choice by turning the tables on Brandon and securing my place at Titan Technologies? Leave a comment. I want to hear your thoughts, your advice, and even your own stories of workplace betrayals and standing up for yourself. More than that, I want you to take something valuable from this story. If there's one lesson I've learned, it's this. You must protect what you build, whether it's your career, your ideas, or your personal boundaries. You are your own first line of defense. Never assume others will act honorably just because you do. Prepare for the worst, but position yourself for the best. Reflect on your own life. Are there areas where you need to set boundaries, demand recognition, or safeguard your work? Maybe it's at your job, in a personal relationship, or on a project you've poured your heart into. Whatever it is, don't let someone else claim credit for what you've built. So here's my challenge to you. Stand up for yourself. Share your thoughts, leave a comment, and let's spark a conversation about protecting what's ours.